Hello everyone, welcome to Python learning series for network engineers. In this series we'll see how to automate device provisioning in Eveng using Python API request. I'll be demonstrating how to initiate API connection to Eveng, how to create a device using template, how to connect interfaces, power on the device, and provision initial configuration using Eveng's telnet. Eveng is having direct connection to each device terminal using telnet connection. We'll see how to explore those options. So here for demonstration I'll be using a CIsco IOS router, and before we move into the Python script we'll have a look into equivalent API request in Postman. So this is the URL we need to use to log into Eveng, and this is how we need to pass the authentication data. We will explore those options in Eveng using the developer options in Chrome, but now we will have a look into the connection, how to make initial connection and get the data. If I click on send, I have received a success message, and if I look into cookies I can see the Eveng cookie details. Now if I want to get a topology I can get, and if I want to start a particular node, here node number I need to give here. If you want to get the node details, I log in here, click on edit, we can see the node ID. Now let me try sending the data. Now I'm getting unauthorized because I'm using Eveng community edition, and that allows only one connection at a time. I cannot have parallel connection from Postman and browser. So let me just try logging in again. So now login is success, and if I go to my browser, this is automatically logged out. Now if I send node start, so I got a message node started. Now we'll log into Eveng, and we can see this is started. Now if I want to switch off, I can log in again, and I can send a node stop. Now here you can see I'm giving html5 equal to -1. Here we have two ways of logging in. One is native console and another is html5 console. In html5 console you can access device console directly from the browser, but for Postman or Python the native console itself is enough. So we can see that difference from here. Click on inspect, and I'll select native console, go to network, I have selected preserve log, and I'll give login. Here we can see the login URL, and under the data we can see the data what we are passing. Here for native console login we are using html5 equal to -1. Same way I log out, clear the data, and this time I'll select html5, start recording, click sign in. Now login URL is same, but here you can see html5 is 1 now. That means it is html5 console. So we can take same URL and let us write equivalent Python script. So first I'll import request library, create a variable, I'll add the login URL here, then credential, I will give same credential, then we can create a header, we can call that accept application /JSON. Now to trigger a login, here I'll call this as a login URL and I'll create another variable, login equal to request dot, it is going to be a post request, and URL equal to login URL, and data is going to be credentials, and we'll try adding this into a variable, the cookies. Login dot cookies. I'll try printing that. So I have successfully logged in. Now if you want to verify it, I'll log in from my browser, and if I trigger login from Python, you can see here this automatically logged out. So that means Python is able to successfully log into Eveng, and we need to use the same cookie for further communication. Now we will see how to spin up a device. So for that, I'll click on developer tools, and I'll create a node. I'll give 𝑣IOS, select the router, we'll leave everything default for now. Clear the log, and when I click on save, I can see the data. So you can see this has created one device. We'll try to fetch the data from here. So here in nodes we can see one post message. The request method is post. So to create a node, we will take copy of this URL, I'll go to PyCharm and I'll call this create URL. Then we need to get the data what we need to pass. So let us go to the browser again, and here we can see the data. Here the entire content is not mandatory. You can filter it or optimize it later based on your requirement. For example, here the left and right, top, all these values for positioning the device, all these kind of parameters are optional. Then the name 𝑣IOS, will try to change that. All these parameters you can optimize. I'm just showing an easy method. Now what we'll do, we'll create iOS data. We'll put the entire content. If we click on Control Shift Alt L in PyCharm, if we do that, this will try to optimize the entire content. Now for our initial test, we'll keep this data as it is, and then we need to convert this into a proper JSON format. So iOS data equal to JSON. We need to import the JSON module here. JSON dot dumps method we need to use, and same iOS data. Now we have the create URL and data, and once we log in, we'll have the cookies available here. So what we can do is create API request.post, and URL is going to be the create URL, then data is going to be the iOS data what we converted to JSON, then cookies is going to be the above variable cookies, and headers are going to be the headers, the variable headers. Now once we have all that, we'll store the response equal to create API dot JSON. Now let us try printing the response. And I'll delete this device. Okay, we'll try running this script. So we can see the message status success and ID of the device is 9. Now we'll log into Eveng again. Click on edit, and we can see this is the new device created. If you want to create another device, so it is 10, 11. Now this can create a number of devices. Now we have multiple devices here. We will delete these devices, and we will create a function and ask user to give number of devices, and we'll add variable names in the device name. So for that, we will put entire content into a variable, not variable, function. Define create instance, and here we will pass the total number of instances needed. We will call this as total, and then we need to iterate through each one. So what we can do is we can create a for loop here. So once we have this login available, for I in from 1 to total plus 1. And we need to put this under the for loop. And now this will start from 1 and the total number of instances needed. It will create that many instances. And for instance name, what we can do is, here we have a name, and that name will convert into formatted string, and here after 𝑉IOS we'll give underscore, and in the formatted string we'll give I. That means for the first instance this will add 1, then for each instance it will add the number. And here below, for printing the instance ID, what we can do is device ID equal to response of data and ID. This one will comment for now. We'll see how to filter this output from this output, how to filter the exact ID. Now we have a function here. Now if we try running this, this is not executing because we are not calling this function anywhere. So what we'll do, we can even create total within the script. We'll create a variable, we'll ask user, and this is going to be an integer. Total number of instances required. And once we get that data, we will run the create instance function with total instance as the input. Now we'll try running this. So here I'll give 2. You can see here this has created 2 instances. The instance numbers are going to be 1 and 2. In the next video we'll see how to delete the instance, but now we are doing it manually. And now to get the instance ID, I'll give 3 again, and we need to do a filter in the data. So this is the entire response, and if you need to filter only that ID, we can see here response. Inside response we are having data, and inside data we have a key value pair ID. So we are trying to fetch this. Now we can do a print here, formatted string, created instance ID is, and we'll add that variable, the device ID. I'll delete these and we'll try triggering again. I'll give 3. Yeah. Now this is printing even the instance IDs. In the next video we'll see how to delete the instance, and after that we'll see how to connect interfaces. Then now we have instances available in the topology. Now we'll see how to connect interfaces, then power on the device and provision initial configuration from a external text file. I hope this video was helpful for you to understand Eveng APIs, and thanks for watching. See you in the next video.